Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our morning coffee time for Saturday. What are we at? July the 18th. The days and nights are relentlessly passing. It's funny how time just seems to speed up as you get older. Blink twice and 5 years goes by. I suppose it's a decreasing proportion of one's lifespan, and that has something to do with it. So, how is everyone this morning? Let's see who we have here. About 50 of my friends and lots of familiar faces. I see the sign, so I guess you can hear me and see me okay. I was fiddling around for a good 15 or 20 minutes trying to make some improvements to the sound today. So hopefully it sounds extra good. And if not, hopefully it sounds good enough. So let's see, for those interested in joining us for puja time, especially our evening chanting and meditation, I decided last night we'd switch things up a bit and go back to doing some Pali and English evening chanting with reflections. So for the past little bit, we've been doing the Parita chanting, and before that, the 3 Cardinal Sutras. So last night we did the evening chanting that's common to our monasteries in Thailand and the West in the Ajahn Chah tradition. And then we did some Pali and English reflections. So we'll probably continue in that pattern for a while. For people who want to join along, and offers a touch point and a support for keeping up some practice in the evening, and for those who are unfamiliar with the chanting, to practice it. It's difficult to kind of learn on your own, and not maybe all that inspiring unless you have friends to chant with. And then let's see, tomorrow afternoon, we're going to have the 4th talk in Ajahn Sona's series on the jhanas. So that will premiere at 1 p.m. Western time in North America. So check that out on the Ajahn Sona channel if you're new. Or I should say the Ajahn Sona YouTube channel. And he's agreed to come on Monday to take questions on that. So looking forward to that as well. Some mornings when I'm sitting here waiting for the stream to start, if I got everything set up, I kind of flip through the Dhammapada for inspiration. And this morning, I want to read just a little bit from this translation of the chapter on happiness. So this is from the Oxford University Press edition of the Dhammapada by John Carter Ross and Mahinda Palihawadana. So I think both are deceased, so it's kind of an older translation, but one that I appreciate. So pleasantly we live, without enmity amongst those with enmity. Amongst humans with enmity do we dwell without enmity. So pleasantly we live, without affliction among the afflicted. Among humans with affliction do we dwell without affliction. Ah, so pleasantly we live, without restlessness among the restless. Among humans who are restless do we dwell without restlessness. Ah, so pleasantly we live, for whom there is nothing at all our own. We shall become partakers of joy, even as the radiant devas. Winning, one engenders enmity. Miserably sleeps the defeated. The one at peace sleeps pleasantly, having abandoned victory and defeat. There is no fire like passion, no offense there like, there is no fire like passion, no offense there is like ill will. There is no misery like the khandhas. No ease there is higher than peace. Hunger is the illness most severe, the sankharas the greatest misery. Knowing this as it is, one realizes nibbana is ease supreme. I think I'll end it there. I won't read the whole section, but I like that particular chapter, the happiness chapter. I like it because it reads a little bit like an affirmation. There's plenty of enmity in the world, and it's easy to be caught up in it. And this poem, this passage, kind of reminds us of that motivation we have to be, to not get caught in that and to dwell without that, to live in peace. The world is full of restlessness. It's easy to get caught in that. And that second verse reminds us of the happiness of not being caught up in that. So a couple of years ago, reflecting on the Metta Sutta, I came up with a little derivative phrase that I could use for contemplation and meditation. And I kind of like this form of affirmation. I know some people were responding, they don't quite, it doesn't click with them the same way it clicks with me. Like when we talked about my little 5-part injunction connected with something of the gradual training. So don't do anything you'll regret. Don't do anything don't be selfish. Don't do anything you'll regret. Don't mistake pleasure for happiness. Don't neglect your serenity. And don't suffer over anything at all. Some people don't like the don't. But I think there's power in verbalizing and rehearsing what it is that we're aiming for in our experience. We get lost. We need reminders. We need ritual. We need the word of another sometimes to shake us out of that drift. So I came up with a little short form based on the Karaniya Metta Sutta. Where it's like, may I be well. What is it? May I be at peace, or may I be at ease. I'm blanking out now. May I be well. May I be at peace. Whatever I am, whoever I am, may I be at ease. And then the part I was thinking of here is, even amidst anger and ill will, do no harm. Even amidst anger and ill will, do no harm. And it was a way for me to sum up and put into like an affirmation or a reflection something that is there in the Karaniya Metta Sutta. But I like that injunction because it's all well and good on our meditation cushion or in the monastery or when we're experiencing our better selves to be free of enmity and ill will and anger and frustration. But in the midst of it, we get caught up and we lose ourselves. And sometimes that's just caught up in our own reactions, but also caught up in what's going on around us in the face of that, in society or in relationship. It's difficult. And we need a strong determination to keep ourselves from drifting into acting in ways that cause harm. So we need a compass. We need a red flag when we're in such a dangerous situation. So, and I like that more kind of strong form of an affirmation. So, sometimes there's conversation about a positive notion of self, because we can't just through a mere act of will are being persuaded by the beauty of the teachings of anatta, be free from self. Like the habits of selfing are still very much working, and through some ideological relationship to that teaching, we can easily jump to the point of all selfing is wrong, all selfing is bad. And in some sort of sense, all self and all selfing does lay us open to and liable to dukkha. From where we stand now, we can't quite help it. So, there is, without affirming the self as this good and wonderful thing, if you're in the place where you're still very much in the habit of selfing, you might as well create better selves, progressively better selves, until you can give up the whole habit altogether. And in some sense, affirmations like this are like that. Like that's the evidence for a positive identification, I guess, a sutta like that. Even amongst the afflicted will be without afflictions. Even amongst the restless, we will be without restless. So, and it's a question that kind of comes up in people's mind when they encounter these teachings on not self. So should I just not be anything at all? Well, ideally, but practically not so easy. Okay, well, it's a little reflection to kind of start things off this morning, and let's see what's on your minds. Good morning, Eleanor. Sometimes we see that some things lead us to suffering, yet we are still doing them. Just like a drug addict who wants to stop, but just can't. What to do in those cases? Well, that's the predicament of the practitioner. Ajahn Chah said something like along these lines once. It's kind of the mind of the practitioner is knowing that he shouldn't, and he does anyways. And that's just the part of the process. I mean, you wouldn't want to give these things up if you hadn't seen the harm in them or seen a better way. But we're still in a position where the causes and conditions for actualizing that haven't yet matured. So don't take it personally. see if you can identify the causes and conditions that are going to support moving to the place where we can actualize that and be free of various ways of speaking and acting and thinking that lead us to suffering, and be patient. So it's all about cultivation and putting in the right causes and developing the right conditions. And if you keep your eye on the way out and the benefit of being without some particular habit, eventually the motivation to give it up altogether and to develop the causes and conditions so that we can give it up altogether will mature. So, and we can easily slip into thinking it's some like a personal foible or flaw, or look at it through personality view, or we can easily move to sort of frustration. But that doesn't really help so much. A much smoother path is just keep noticing, keep reflecting on the harm, the downfall, the downside of whatever it is, and motivating oneself to develop conditions that lead us out of that. When you're ready to be free from it, I mean really ready, then you will. I always found it helpful to reflect on the fact too that there's a lot of things that we're not fully convinced yet. Like we still think we're profiting from them in some way. So we see the harm, or we see the suffering that comes with certain choices that we make habitually, certain habits we have. But somewhere we still think we need to do it, or we still find it profitable in some way. Human mind's a complicated thing. These are usually not binary choices. We're usually never like 100% for or 100% against something. There's a mix there, and some of the perception that on some level we still need to do it, or need it, or must do it, or are entitled to do it, or that it's profitable in some way, has to be ferreted out. Full of expression and gratitude and delight, reading Bloom by Lumpur Sona. Have you read this lovely gift? I haven't yet. It's come to mind, but I don't have a copy. And I would like one, but it hasn't happened yet. So, and in some way, I feel like I know Ajahns' teaching and take on everything or many things, but having it in a book and that kind of polished form could be a real treat. So, good morning, Moria. Ajahn V in his talk yesterday gave a great example about how to stop a mental habit. It's worth checking out at tsarna.ca. Okay. More recommendations. And Sumana. Are you familiar with Gil Fronsdale's translation of the Dhammapada? If so, any comment? I've enjoyed this quite new translation. No, I am not. I saw excerpts from it, which looked very good. And in general, I like Gil's teaching. And so, yeah, that would be nice to check out. I think I mentioned on here before, one of the more modern American translators of the Dhammapada that I enjoy is Glenn Wallace. His language is interesting. Okay, hello again, Eleanor. Is it possible to send you an email directly? I live in France so I can't come to the monastery. Yeah, you can send email. Like, I appreciate hearing reflections, and people can raise topics or give a little more background or something. But I have a longstanding policy of not teaching via phone or email because I spend enough time in front of computers and phones, and writing is something that comes very slowly for me. So, and have many other duties and things. So I have to limit that. And also, I want to be available for my monastic community and the people that live locally. And somehow I feel like that limitation helps support me as a monastic in an important way. So this YouTube thing is a bit of a departure for me. I'm mainly kind of focused a lot more locally. And outside the pandemic, I most appreciate connecting with real humans in real places, and especially the visits that we have from people here at the Hermitage. So you're welcome to email me, but I can't kind of really engage in a back and forth teaching relationship with people via those ways. So, and yeah, even on the YouTube channel, I think there's on the About page, you can get the email address for the monastery. So it's hermitage@abhayagiri.org. So Abhayagiri is our parent monastery. Good morning, George. I'm so very grateful for the support of Ajahn and the Sangha. I'm tobacco-free since, what is that? June 24th at 10:15 CDT. Congratulations. That is said to be one of the harder addictions to kick. So it's a good way to practice relinquishment and adhitthana barami, carrying through with your determination. So more power to you. You know, in relinquishing things and practicing restraint and relinquishment, it's important to connect with the joy of that. Like, what is it like to be a slave to something? And what does it feel like to be free? And even though there's all these kinds of things that can bring us a certain amount of pleasure, the happiness that comes from that is so different than the happiness that comes from being a free man, a free person, a free woman, a free being. And in particular, in kind of cultivating restraint and relinquishment, it's important to really connect with the joy of that. I mean, it's so helpful. And it really is a beautiful and unique form of happiness to not be able to kind of bypass the various compulsions that we have, to do this, to have that, to engage in this, and to not be swayed by the voices of Mara, which come in the form of all kinds of justifications, like, oh, come on, you deserve it, or oh, come on, it's only a little bit, or everyone else does it, it's not that harmful. On some level it is. You're giving up your freedom. You're enslaving yourself. That's a very central part of addiction too. Like, you're making it you're creating a dependency, not just for your happiness, but at some point for a new norm. Like, you need this thing to feel normal. Okay, well, we're closing in on 8:30, and I don't see any other questions or reflections. So maybe we'll leave it at that for today. Make your own affirmation and a determination to move through the day and be one free of enmity and free of restlessness. and connect instead with the joy of that kind of freedom, the happiness and joy of being one free from those afflictions. So, okay, I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good day. Be well, friends.